Hello and welcome to the Worn and Wound podcast. My name is Blake Buettner, and I'm in studio today with a full house, both in person and remotely here. We've got a lot of us here from the editorial team. I've got Thomas Calara over here in office. Hey, Thomas, how are you?
What's happening, guys?
I've got Patrick Marlett right there. Hey, Patrick.
Howdy.
And Zach Weiss. Mr. Zach Weiss, hey.
How's it going?
We missed you on the pod. You haven't been on in a little bit.
Yeah, no. I don't know where I've been.
Okay.
Somewhere.
Well, I'm glad we were able to find you and bring you out for this one. We've got Zach Kazan covering Concord up there.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Zach. We've got Kat down in Nashville. Hey, Kat.
Hey.
And the important Long Island arm of the operation here, Mr. Ed Jelley. Isn't that what that's called? That's where you're at? Okay, Ed, hey.
I am on the Long Island, which
Long,
is technically attached. You guys are attached to it, whether you like it or not.
Oh, okay. So we are on an island right now.
We're on the same land.
We're on the same land.
Just,
okay.
Depending on your personality, we might not be connected.
You just do more fishing out where you're at than
exactly
than we do. Okay. Well, we've got us all here in the same room, more or less, to talk about 2022 in watches, some of our favorite releases, biggest disappointments, and maybe watches that we feel like we have something to say about from this year. We have a lot to get to, but before we do, we're going to do a wrist check. It might take the entire episode. That's okay. Zach Kazan, I'm going to start with you. Zach, what are you wearing today?
I'll be really quick. I'm wearing my IWC Pilot's Chronograph Ceratanium 41 millimeter.
All right, great. Was that this was your favorite release or pickup of the year, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Okay, excellent. Kat, what are you wearing today?
I'm also wearing my IWC Pilot's Chronograph 41.
Wow.
But it is the CO3 edition, the collective limited edition.
Okay. Is that your favorite pickup of the year?
It's not my favorite. I mean, it's a favorite because it's in my collection, but it's a good one. It's a good one.
Okay. Well, we'll see if we can get your favorite purchase of the year out of you in a little bit. Ed Jelley, what are you wearing today?
I'm wearing my trusty Speedmaster. Just a Speedmaster.
Just a Speedmaster.
Just a Speedmaster.
Ouch. That's
great.
I will have you know, I went up to Times Square last week and did an interview in front of the Swatch store on the news, actually. No big deal. So there's still a line out of the side of the store here for new batches of the Moon Swatch come in. So there's still people like waiting there. And the news was doing a story on something about the Moon Swatch, and they asked us to come and say a few words about the Moon Swatch as quote unquote experts on this kind of stuff, right? This is who you call. Anyway, so I wore my Moon Swatch, my Mars one, and I put on my other wrist my Steel Speedmaster. And when I put up my wrist, all the people in line and the newscaster and the cameraman that was recording were all like oohing and eyeing at the Steel Speedmaster. This was like a celebrity here in line. So all that to say, Ed, don't tell us.
We're just looking at you because you had two watches on, correct?
Well, I hadn't considered
This
that.
weirdo. Yeah.
Yes. Is that guy wearing two watches? Maybe. But, when else am I going to wear two Speedmasters at once? So
Every Tuesday.
Yeah.
Every single Tuesday.
Every single Tuesday. Besides every single Tuesday, that's right.
More to post on that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, he was a total celebrity, though. So anyways, wear that proudly, Ed, that Speedmaster.
I will.
No such thing. All right. Patrick, what are you wearing today?
SBGN027. I hope I got that right. And I love this watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is your favorite pickup of the year?
More or less.
Okay. It's a pickup of the year. Okay. Thomas Calara, what do you got on over there?
Today I have on the Rolex Explorer 14270. This was not picked up this year, but this is probably one of the most worn watches of this year.
Okay.
Keep it simple.
Most worn watch of the year. Okay.
Yep.
Excellent. Love it. Zach Weiss, what do you have on over there? What is that?
On the Christopher Ward C1 Bel Canto.
Okay.
Yeah. This was a good watch.
Yeah, it was a good watch.
I wrote about it recently. What did I write about? This was my best pickup. This was my favorite
your best pickup?
We've written a lot of these things. I forgot which I used it for. But yeah, it was my favorite pickup. perhaps one of my favorite releases of the year,
Yeah.
certainly. And dare I put it out there? Maybe even a candidate for Watch of the Year. Wow.
Okay, there we go. Watch of the year candidate right off the bat.
Yeah, for their non-existent award. GPH.
I wrote about this watch as my biggest surprise of the year. Just in terms of like what I expect from a brand and what we get from a brand, this was maybe the biggest like deviation or delta between those two.
Yeah,
fabulous.
Definitely unexpected, very unexpected release. I chose a different watch, the watch you just mentioned, the Moonswatch, for that because we talked. But and I had to pick one that was still really crazy. Anyway, very happy with this watch as a watch, I can't quite get over it. I feel like I keep coming back to it for various reasons. They really, did something quite special here. So
no, really exciting watch that, and I think we'll kind of set the tone in more ways than one. Let's see what I did there. Set the tone for 2023. Hopefully we'll see some more, but I hope more than anything, a lot of brands like took notice of how many people got excited about that watch. And for people,
up your damn games.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get more creative, right? So the Bel Canto is certainly that. What's that watch you got sitting on the table right next to you?
Oh, so this just arrived in the mail. But, I've been playing with it. So this is the Gavox Longitude GMT featuring the Miyota 9075 GMT movement, their new true GMT. This is a watch that's currently in pre-order, so this is a prototype that's sent over for review, which we'll be looking at in 2023. I was messing with it on the table because it features what is like an integrated bracelet, but then it comes with an end link so you can attach straps. And I was figuring out how exactly that works. But that's one of my favorite features, that it comes with that out of the box. I think that was really smart of them. But yeah, it's a sharp looking little watch. It's got a lot of nice features.
More creativity in the micro brand quote unquote space, right?
100%.
So love seeing it. That has an interesting dial too. It looks like somebody took like a stone and chipped away pieces of a surface.
Yeah, the whole thing, I think it's supposed to be sort of water inspired, but I see that as well. It has a kind of harsh line to it, like it's chipped slate or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a heavy texture, like a long, Seiko, Grand Seiko kind of lines. This is the kind of thing we didn't really see from other brands until recently. So another exciting avenue for them to pursue.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Yeah, anyway,
I like it.
Looking at that more.
All right, Gavox. So we'll have more on that watch at some point down the line. I imagine. I'm wearing a Tudor Black Bay Pro. This was my favorite pickup of the year. I think probably high up there on yours as well.
My second favorite. A close second.
Yeah. I still like this watch. I still really enjoy wearing it, and every time it's like been a little while, you pull it out of the box and put it on, kind of like I could wear this for the next week and be perfectly happy. So still happy with this one. I still have that bracelet on it too, which wears really well. I have another watch with me as well. I don't know if anybody knows what it is. It just showed up in the mail today, along with a bunch of chocolates and champagne and all the stuff like that at the end of the year, which has been great. So
it was gifted.
The chocolate and champagne did not come with that.
They did not come with this watch.
Just generally,
no, just in general, it's the end of the year. That's the kind of thing that you get. So this is a Norcane Wild One. This is the watch that we've all been that we've been waiting to see here, and I'm excited to have it in for. Oh, look at that! That's got a unique buckle.
Before this, Kazan, you've seen it. You saw it in Switzerland.
I have, yes.
Yeah. I don't think anyone else has though.
Well, Blake Mallon and I went to a dinner with Norcane and saw it there, and they just recently became available for us to get a sample. This was a watch that released this year. I think made a bit of a splash. It's something new from Norcane, and the material itself is unique. Nortec, I think, is what it's called.
Nortec, it's their proprietary carbon fiber material that is very lightweight and supposedly very strong and corrosion resistant and all the things you want a material for a sports watch to be.
I say it's lightweight, but it's not like, it doesn't feel like a toy lightweight. Like it's a nice level of lightweight. Which is
the impression I had when I saw it when it was released was that it was
I'll be the judge.
like it felt very light on the wrist, like to wear it. Like it definitely kind of like quote unquote disappears, but it still feels like a premium product. Like it's really nicely finished, and sometimes with carbon fiber watches, it feels like corners are cut, and like they kind of feel plasticky and like not nice to touch.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought the wild one was like kind of like a step up from the typical carbon fiber.
This is quite nice.
Yeah,
this really is quite nice. Not that I had like low expectations, but I had assumptions based on like what you're talking about, Zach. Like just my other experiences with forged carbon cases and whatnot, and like I don't know. There's something a little bit different about the sheen of this and the line of it that it doesn't have that plasticiness at all. It's kind of more. And it's quite intriguing. It's quite intriguing. We were Blake and I were at a little like I don't know what you call it, tea. We had a tea with Urwerk last week, and they were in the city before that auction.
Yeah.
And there was a gentleman there with a carbon model. I don't remember the number on it.
I think it was a 220.
220.
Yeah.
Absolutely unbelievable looking. And that was another one where I thought it was forged carbon, but it didn't feel like it. So I asked him, and he was like, "Yes, it is," because just there's something about the line it held the edge. Like it was much more metallic seeming, and this has a similar quality.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. The definitely I get the Formex Legera vibes. So we'll have to kind of get them next to each other and do something. So we'll have a more in-depth review of this watch coming soon. I do like that colorway as well. It's kind of a forest green and black. So yeah, nice job to Norcane on that one.
Is this a trend we're going to see?
Yeah,
in
what did they go with the Wild 2?
With the Wild 2.
Where do they take it?
Yeah, okay. But yeah, I feel like this is one of the trends that we've seen, maybe not even just this year, but even the last like kind of year or two leading up to now is a lot more use of like exotic materials that brands seem to be developing. I don't know if you guys have noticed this or what you feel about it. For so they can kind of call it their own thing, Nortec, or whatever it is.
Bioceramic.
Bioceramic, yeah.
Ceratanium.
Ceratanium, yeah. Formex doesn't call theirs anything. They don't have their own like name for it. I don't think it's like proprietary or anything, but I think we're seeing a lot more materials like this kind of come down into like average person price range. It's not like just reserved for like high-end exotic watches anymore. So is this a trend?
There's just a lot more experimentation in general, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to be that like you'd see like a lot of stainless steel and like every brand kind of had like like maybe a titanium watch or two that was sort of like in a slightly higher price bracket, and now there's just a lot more titanium, for one, almost an equal amount, I would think at this point, and lots of experimentation with different types of carbon fibers and plastics and things.
So, Kat, I want to get your take on this because I know that you are not all that fond of titanium. But my understanding is that the reason is because you don't like things that are super lightweight on them. Like you like a little bit of heft to the watch.
I do. It's just a weird, weight texture thing. Aesthetically, I like the look of titanium. I like that darker metal. But I just don't love the way it feels on the wrist personally. I've had people tell me that, you kind of have to, you can't go from wearing, a Mark II Speedmaster to putting on a titanium watch. It's not going to feel right. So, but starting out the day wearing a titanium watch is the way to go, where you haven't put anything else on. So maybe that's something I need to try. But so far, there's no titanium watches in my collection.
No titanium watches.
Yeah.
Do you think if there was one that had enough, like it didn't feel like a featherweight, like it's.
I mean,
there's something.
There's certainly watches I love. I love the Propla from Omega, and I think that's a watch that really benefits from being titanium because it's so huge.
Yeah.
And I love the Pelagos. If I'm being honest, I've really grown to love that watch a lot this year. Didn't like it when it first released, or the 39 at least. But I've come to like it. But yeah, I haven't tried it on yet. So
okay. Ed, what about you? Has the weight of a watch ever been a consideration for your purchase?
I'm gonna be boring here and say no. I'm a titanium fan. I reviewed the Oris Pro Pilot X Caliber 400 this year, and that was super fun. Like that was a watch I was looking forward to checking out, and I still think about that one. That's like one of the ones that I've kind of paid more attention to when they pop up for sale.
Ah, really? Okay, so this is a watch that has been lingering for you.
Yeah, it's definitely been lingering a little bit more. That was one of the ones I was like, do I really got to give them back, huh? Like, obviously, of course, I give them all back. I don't have a pile of watches sitting here. But sometimes you're like, all right, I've had my time with it, and back it goes. But these were cool. These were really cool. And the titanium was kind of like a fun, different feeling. Like it is kind of trippy to feel something like so light, and the bracelet's titanium and it's like super articulated. It's very comfortable. I just thought it was a fun experience.
And you had all 3 dial colors with you, and you ended up liking the gray dial the most.
Yeah, I didn't love they call it salmon, but it's kind of like, it's pink. It's like pink lemonade. I would have gone pink lemonade. Yeah, peachy pink. Yeah, it's kind of like Cat's hat.
Yeah.
We're audio medium here, but peachy.
Yes.
And the blue was okay, but I think like the matching gray that was all kind of like grayed out the whole entire watch with the black markers just worked the best.
Yeah. No. This is like a top 5 release of 2022 for you?
I would top 5 it. Yeah.
You top 5 it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's reasonable.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have a top 5 contribution that we want to talk about, or I'm going to jump in actually and take the opportunity to say I didn't have like a single watch. I thought so. 2022 for me was kind of like there wasn't so many like home runs, but there's a lot of like singles and doubles and stuff like that. Like there was a lot of like interesting, cool, good releases, but nothing when I think back that like jumps out was like, oh, well, obviously this is like the greatest release of the year, or this is like the great one. Just a lot of like really great, solid watches. And I think the Pelagos 39 is kind of like emblematic of that fact. It's a watch that also kind of lingers in the back of my head, which I still kind of think about sometimes. I really like it. But it's also kind of like, it's great. It's fine. There's nothing like
groundbreaking.
Yeah, there's nothing like, it's weird or it's different or it's done something here. So, I want to come back to it. And I feel like a lot of watches from 2022 were the same way. But there's a collection of watches that I've kind of collectively put as my favorite releases. And they are the Parmigiani Tonda PF watches, the Openwork Skeleton, the GMT Rattrapante, and the 36 millimeter just time only watch. I think these collectively kind of form a series of watches that I really enjoyed this year that fall outside of the realm of like what I would practically add to my collection. I don't really wear dress watches. I don't really dress up or anything like that. But I liked all of these watches, and I think collectively they are like maybe my favorite releases of the year. So, yeah, I'll throw that out there.
They're great. Love those watches. Still, I mean, those are definitely in like the lingering category for me. Like after seeing them at Watches and Wonders this spring, like, they're great.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you remember seeing these, especially that GMT Rattrapante early in the year.
Yeah.
That was a cool watch.
It's interesting. I was just like looking, A Collected Man has like an article, a long article about like Parmigiani, like the founding of it, because there's apparently some renewed interest in the early models, as there might be the Eye of Sauron of that is the collector community is looking for the next thing to pick up.
Yeah.
And there's some inkling it could be early Parmigiani, so there's little Torix and stuff. And they're interesting. They're very strange. I can't quite decide aesthetically if I like them or not. Sometimes I have that with music. Like there's this band. Oh God, I'm totally blanking on the name, so ignore that. But I'll come back to it. I remember the song "Pearly Dewdrops Off." Do you know that, Zach? Cocteau Twins. Thanks.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And I used to hate that song, and then suddenly I loved it. Now I want on everything. I think it could be one of these moments where I could flip. But anyway, they're very, very different aesthetically from these current ones, and it's sort of a similar thing. Like nothing like those didn't strike me as like watches I particularly like felt an affection for in terms of my tastes, but an undeniable appreciation for the craft. That was what struck me. It was like holding them. Okay. Yeah. They've just felt like finished to an elevated degree, which was unique. Especially Watches and Wonders, you're holding so many watches that are exceptional. These felt even more exceptional than most in hand. I don't know if they clicked for me though.
Yeah. I feel, but probably like aesthetically, I think it's kind of bridges that. Like I've long liked Parmigiani, but like the designs of a lot of their watches have kind of been not really in my realm, and these kind of get it into. Even though I respected them as like watchmakers, they do really interesting things orologically, I guess you could say. So, this is a watch that kind of said, oh, they're they're going to garner a lot of public attention because of these, and I can see that kind of happening. And so I'm really interested to see where, how that collection or evolves, and how it speaks to anything new that they end up doing next year. So I'm excited to see that, and I like thinking about watches that are kind of outside of my comfort zone.
So top
What's
five.
the name of that? Is it an Elegant case?
Is that the Elegance? Yeah.
We saw something from FP Journe that really stuck in my
is
mind. I just don't remember the name of this
It
particular
was like
reference.
a recreation of an earlier watch too.
Sorry.
Yeah, and Cartier did one that I think
video for this
in the
watch,
same
huh?
case. But yeah.
Anyone know the name?
We're all us FP Journe connoisseurs on this podcast.
Not
right?
I find this watch striking though. No.
No, that was a cool one. That was a cool one as well. But no, I mean, I think there's something to be said about the kind of a style of an era past that we maybe at one point, or for a large chunk of our collecting, our time in this hobby, have kind of thought of as like, oh, I don't really like that. I associate it with this era of the 90s or something like that, and that's gross. But then like you start to come around on a certain style, like obviously not even watches, just like all the high schoolers in my neighborhood are walking around with clothes that look like from that era as well, that I thought were like, oh, so it's clearly like something cyclical that's coming back. And it's and now you see some watches from that era that are like, maybe that doesn't look so bad, or maybe that works, maybe that clicks,
Like loom dials.
like loom dials.
Loom.
Okay, there you go.
Right?
All right.
I feel like that's something we've seen a lot of this year.
Yeah.
And
I forgot about that.
yeah. So like the Doxa Carbon, the white pearl with the loom dial, that kind of like made the list for me, at least, of like favorite watches that got released this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the Citizen Aqualand, which wasn't released here in the U.S., but was a Japan release, and that ended up being a watch that made its way into my collection.
Yeah.
That in itself is a loom dial. What else? There was like a tag, the night diver tag. loom dial,
I think Norcane had a loom dial as well.
That must I can't remember what's this year and what was last. That might have been this year. There's also a hand heart, I believe.
Yeah.
That's a thing. All right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right. So kick us off. What are you thinking about?
So
that Doxa White Pearl. You talk about that watch a lot. Like I can tell it's on your mind.
Yeah, I mean Doxa's just always on my mind, and
Doxa's always on the mind.
All
right.
I should get that on a T-shirt, man. But I was gonna include like the stainless steel Army, or no, actually the ceramic got released this year as well, right? That was
was that? Jesus.
I think so.
I think so.
I think it was this year. So for just to not crowd the amount of Doxas on my list here, I was just gonna go with the Doxa Carbon, the white
OG.
pearl.
Not the OG.
No,
the
first.
first.
The white pearl.
Oh, the white pearl.
Yeah,
Okay.
the loom dial.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. And then I think that, I don't know if it really inspired me to get the Citizen Aqualand, but I think that's just, I don't even know why I didn't say that was like my favorite pick of the year, because like I haven't worn that watch in a while, but now like I think about it, like,
Just thinking about it.
yeah, I gotta keep that close by, like, or like
All
in
right.
my pocket or something. man.
In my
Like,
case.
which I've like kind of been known to like just have a watch in my pocket,
The
So
Doxa slot.
just exactly.
pocket.
It's where I keep my Doxa.
Right.
A spare Doxa.
Right.
For when I don't have a Doxa on,
Yeah.
it's always
Yeah,
there.
it's a different. It's a pocket watch, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Does a wristwatch become a pocket watch? It's slipped in the pocket.
Right.
The old
Yeah.
pocket Doxa.
Yeah. What about you, Zach? Like what stuck out
Oh my
to?
gosh. We just recorded this, did a bunch of end of year episodes
Like
for
an
a
hour
week.
of,
Yeah. For weekend watches to account for like being out of town and stuff like that. And I did like a year in watches 2-parter because there's so much. And now I'm really like, I didn't even remember Doxa existed while I was making that, because they're unfortunately not in my pocket or on my mind that much.
Right.
Which, sorry, Doxa, and all the Doxa fans, which I know is quite a few. You didn't make it.
All two of you.
But like going through,
Hey man.
going through all of these watches, like there was so much stuff I just forgot about. But one that like re-reviewing, or just to drop it in this, in the weekend watches, that I was like, oh man, it was so gorgeous, was the Serica GMT. And like looking at it again, and like, I mean, I think purely aesthetically might have been one of my favorite watches from last year. There's just, he really hit on something with that, just the balance of it, the strangeness of it. Like it just, it really feels, has the feeling of a vintage mid-century watch without cues that relate to anything quite. Maybe the hands are a little bit similar to some things, but otherwise it is like from another universe in such a good way.
Right, exotic, but it still feels like something you could wear every day.
Totally, yeah, and it's like so bizarre. It doesn't say Serica on it, but has other lines of text, which is strange. So it's such a strange thing. But really, yeah, the more I look at it, the more it kind of digs in. Lingers.
Yeah, they do. They've tapped into something with their kind of design language, and you can really see it start to blossom.
Yeah, and seeing it, when before Wind Up, when we had like a little in-office event for vendors. Gosh, I'm forgetting the name of the Jerome. Yes, Jerome was in the office. Very well dressed gentleman, and he was wearing that watch. And to see it also in the context of like really, really like a good fit, so to speak, I was like, oh, like that. It makes so much sense with his styling, which is like has this cool kind of tailored vintage look to it as well. And I was like, oh man, that's just really makes sense. I like it.
Yeah, I like that watch too. The very popular booth at Wind Up this year, by the way, as well. So I think a lot of people are paying attention to what they're doing these days. Ed, Jelley, any watches that you want to talk about from this year? Good, bad, ugly? Other than the Oris Pro Pilot X, obviously.
Yeah, what was good this year?
What does that fall in? Good, bad, or ugly for you?
Well, the good. Oh, for me personally, I had nothing against that watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to get a hot take.
Jumped out. I really like the Grand Seiko SLGH 009, the Lake Suwa.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
It was like it's got the GS40 or the 44 GS case, 40 millimeters, and it's got the high beat with 80-hour power reserve in there, and the dial is like this gorgeous deep blue that has like a waved. I'm reading the wrong one. Look at me. I'm an expert here. Anyway, yeah, the reference is wrong, but the watch was in fact the one I'm talking about.
That's the one that's on your mind, the Lake Suwa, yeah.
It just looks fantastic. If I could bring up, here it is. It is the SLGA 009. I was off by one letter. I apologize.
Okay.
It is not the 44 GS case. It is part of the Evolution 9 collection.
Yeah.
It's spring drive with a 5-day power reserve. And it's got those big, chunky, kind of angular hands that have like the hour hand has like the tip and the end like nipped off. So they come like a hard square point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the dial work on that one is like some of my favorite Grand Seiko stuff ever. It's a little expensive, which kind of bums me out. But I mean, Grand Seiko has kind of been heading, I feel like, up market a bit.
Yeah.
Like, now we're kind of touching the 10K mark for all the new cool stuff, and I feel like we were like maybe like 5 to 7 a couple years ago. So I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just completely wrong, but I don't know. I think they've been trying to move up market, and it's working because they put out cool stuff like this, and now I want it.
And now I want it.
I feel like it's warranted.
Now I want it.
It's warranted though. I really like what
It's beautiful. Yeah. I actually had lunch with somebody that works with another brand, and I was asking him other watches that he'd gotten this year, and that was the watch that he mentioned.
Really?
Yeah, so I won't say who or what brand, but so that one garners a lot of respect, I think, broadly from other industry people. So excellent selection.
They also did the white birches too, which were
the white birches and that black birch. We still haven't seen that one. That's the titanium one as well. I'm still really
they had
the night birch.
The night birch. Yeah, they had a non-working one at the GS9 event, which I got like a couple seconds with it, and it was pretty sweet. It was pretty sweet. Yeah.
Pretty sweet. Yeah.
Of the birches, that's the one for me. But yeah, God, I even forgot about this like Suwa model. It's crazy that came out this year.
It's
and
then
they just came out with the same case in titanium, but the Awate dial also is exceptional.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with any of them.
Grand Seiko, yeah. It was an anniversary year. Imagine that.
Yep. Shocking.
What? It was an anniversary year this year?
Did they have any limited editions come out
this year?
Do they have any non-limited?
Like 1 or 2.
All right.
You know what? I'll throw it out there. I support all the limited editions. You know, people are like, oh, is it really limited if they make like 20 of them? But like, for me, I just think it's a cool way for brands to like experiment with stuff and like not commit to doing something forever. Like, sure, it's kind of corny calling them like, oh, it's a limited edition, and there's another one, and there's another one the week after. But like, you know, I think it's just a way to do cool stuff without having it, you know, to commit to it forever. So that might be kind of a hot take.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah, 100% agree.
It's only
I feel that way with like
warm take.
clothing. I think all clothing is sort of limited edition. Like if I buy this sweater that I love, it's not going to be around, same time next year for the most part, right? And I don't know. I think people just sort of blow limited editions out of proportion.
Should we start maybe using the
thought about
language
that.
like seasonal release? It's a seasonal.
Yeah.
It's a seasonal collection.
Yeah, I mean, Grand Seiko literally does that too. So
Yeah.
With the seasons.
Different way though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mind blown, Cat. Jeez.
Yeah.
No, it's true. Like
That's what I'm here
It's
for.
just like your sweater, dog.
like
Chill.
I don't know. That has never influenced a purchase decision of mine
A limited
because
or
it's limited.
special
Like I don't
or-
care at all. Like I have some that are limited, some that aren't. Whenever I don't put a watch on that's limited and be like, oh yeah, this
But
is
you
one
feel
of this
perhaps
is
you
one of
pressure
100.
to buy it.
Because
Like,
it's limited.
No,
and you know it's
I
gonna
buy
go
it because I
away.
like it. Like it might push me into like do
Right.
it a little sooner, I guess. But
But
I feel
the
like I always see them on the secondhand market,
There
no
is
matter
always
what.
a little bit more of an urgency, though. And I feel like the secondhand limited Grand Seikos are usually more than the MSRP, which
Not
is sad.
always, though. I guess
It
I don't
depends
know.
on it.
Some,
Yeah, but the
They
ones
hold value
the
for
ones
sure.
I
Yeah,
want-
yeah.
You know, it might not
Yeah.
be like Rolex flipping money, but
Right.
like
No.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Grand Seiko's cool.
Grand Seiko's cool.
breaking news.
You heard it here
We
first.
like Grand
folks.
Seiko.
Zach Kazan, have you seen any Grand Seikos lately that you? What do you want to talk? What watches that you want to talk about from this?
So
year?
if we're talking about like our favorite watch of the year, I mean to keep it with to continue down the Grand Seiko path. For me, it's the Grand Seiko Kodo, the
yes,
Constant Force Tourbillon. I think that's like
I think
pretty
that's like
incredible achievement from from the brand. It's a very cool watch. Like that's the watch that like at Watches and Wonders where we saw like everything, where we saw so many cool things. That's the one I felt like the luckiest to like have been able to see. The one that like I'll probably never see again.
yeah.
It still kind of like blows me away that they were able to make that.
So that watch is like literally the best watch made last year. I think it's the most impressive watch.
Mhm.
It's the coolest one. I mean, you could any metric you want to say. I mean, it's like literally the best watch released last year. It's hard to argue with that.
Yeah.
So
It's fair.
Wow.
I'm a Grand Seiko fan, so I won't argue you.
Those are big. I'm always like hesitant to say anything's the best or the greatest or whatever. Now I'm to think like of all the other watches like on that level, but it certainly is a high contender. Like I mean, okay, here we'll put it against a favorite of yours. Like the Max Buser and Friends. That's what the MBNF. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Friends. As you say that out loud, it's like that sounds kind of fun. But like that crazy chronograph that they did.
yeah, like look,
you
that
know.
I think is an impressive watch. I don't find it like beautiful though.
Mm.
Like I think looking at the little details of the Kodo, like I think there was an aesthetic beauty to a lot that was going on there
Mhm.
that I really
Yeah.
appreciated. Whereas I think the MBNF was fun and ridiculous and like technically very very impressive.
Yeah.
Like the Kodo was also those things, but also had like an aesthetic thing that I really dug about it.
And it's
as
also
well.
like aesthetically linked to like Grand Seikos that you can buy for like $4,000 or $5,000. Like it.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
when you
that's
when you see it, it has this like crazy skeletonized dial and the tourbillon and like open lugs and all this stuff, and like it's a very like unique looking aesthetic object. But if you like consider like the lines of the case and like the hand shape and other things, like it's still very much in the Grand Seiko design language. So being able to like make a watch that's so kind of unique in and of itself, that's also still like very much like that feels like a part of the brand, I think is a pretty significant accomplishment.
yeah, absolutely.
It's
Yeah,
like
for
it's like the super shredder of Grand Seiko.
Yes.
Super shredder of Grand
Yeah.
Seikos. Yeah.
It's a Ninja Turtle reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Digital too.
I'm with you on that.
course.
It's funny. There's a
That's
lot.
what it reminds me of. I'm like, this is super shredder.
A friend of mine calls
see
the
that.
automatic Grand Seiko I owned the shredder because a lot of their styling cues kind of, I don't know,
Sharp, angular,
Yeah.
pointy.
give you shredder vibes. But that's so funny
Yeah,
you say that.
Shredder is just a Zeratsu officiant.
The Master Zerat Polisher Shredder.
Yeah.
He handles all of our Zeratsu. He's so cool to find out.
Yeah.
Just to go back to Effie Jorn, I'm sorry. I found the actual item. It's a Vagabondage. What
That's
what a
right.
great name.
Yeah.
A Vagabondage 1 and 6 and gold. It uses a caliber 1504.2. So basically,
Oh yeah, that one.
That
it illustrates the
one.
time via the hour. It's a jump hour and a minute via like an aperture window that's on the dial. And like this ring rotates You have to look it up. There's no.
Well, it's like a weird version of like a wandering hour where, there's a single aperture that follows around with the hour in it, and then the hour jumps over, and the whole thing rotates again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's bizarre because like unlike the Urworks, there isn't like an arc to it. It's just the whole dial.
I mean, that's the one that I think is my favorite release from the year, because when we visited FP not only were they really lovely, but obviously their storefront was awesome. There's a lot of history there, and then they take you to the back to show you through some of their current catalog, and I loved all of it. But this one in particular, I didn't realize it was a limited series of 68. I would have bought it if I knew.
It's one of those. It's a seasonal release.
Darn, exactly. But 7.6 millimeters thin. It's funny because like these measurements didn't really ring true when I was holding it. It felt really larger than life because of how large, expansive the dial is, and how you read time. I like looking at time in different ways, and I felt like their presentation of time here was really unique. I've never seen anything quite like this, but it is just a big hour disc with an aperture that points to the minute, and the aperture also tells you the hour. But it's just a smart, beautiful design, and then it's manually wound, so the display case back, you get to look at this really gorgeous movement. It's 15.
Yeah, I remember being really impressed with that watch when we saw it. I mean, along with everything that we saw there was very, very impressive. But that watch in particular, I think, had a certain kind of, I don't know, fun vibe to it. And so I appreciated that watch a lot. Kat, I want to move over to you. What do you want to talk about from this year?
What do I want to talk about?
Trends,
my favorite watches,
seasonal clothing,
sweaters.
Yeah.
I had several kind of written down here. So the Vacheron Constantin, I don't know how to pronounce it, the Le Historique, 2022 model, the all gold that they did. That was like a 37 millimeter case. That one really stood out to me. I think that came out. Maybe that was a Watches and Wonders release. I can't remember.
Yeah, the 222 kind of overshadowed a lot of their other releases at Watches and Wonders, I think.
Yeah, just love that watch. It's sort of a grail piece that came out this year, and I think it was just really hot across the board. I've seen celebrities wearing them now, and it's sort of taken the place of this integrated bracelet, all gold watch. But I've really taken a fancy to gold this year.
Okay.
So this really stood out. What's that?
Like rose or
Yellow.
or yellow?
Gotta go
like
yellow.
not white, like
Yellow.
actual like.
I'm a yellow gold fan too.
Yeah, yellow all the way.
Not white gold though. Too close to steel.
Well, no, I like white gold too, but that's like for when you want that like low key gold. But when you want that flashy gold,
that high key gold.
Only you know.
yellow's where it's at.
So you got to think. Do you see a gold watch entering your collection at some point this year?
Not at the moment, for sure, but maybe someday.
Okay.
I think I need to start with like a two-tone and sort of work my way into it. I don't think I can go full gold just yet.
Really?
But
Okay.
What's the
maybe like a
222
two-tone
weigh?
Datejust or something.
You saw the 222 in person?
What 222?
What is that? What does that weigh? What is that like? It seems like a lot of gold, but it's not a big watch. It's just like
it's a very slight watch, but it had a normal weight of.
I don't know why. It just looks like more gold. Maybe because every element of it's gold, like whereas like some of the APs
the
and whatever.
dial, yeah.
Like yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's a cool watch.
And then another favorite of mine was the IWC, the Woodland and the Lake Tahoe. I think IWC just in general had a really killer year.
Yeah.
I think Top Gun and some of the other things that came out this year really. I mean, not that they needed to be put on the map, they're IWC, but I feel like they just really had a great year. And these watches in particular, I sort of feel like started this, it started the chronograph trend for me. I really didn't take a look at these watches until these came out. And then I picked up mine a little bit later, but yeah, they were standouts for me this year.
You've had other chronographs though, right? Or was that your...
I've had numerous Speedmasters, but they've just never stayed in the collection, unfortunately.
But you're looking at more chronos because of the IWC?
Yeah, when I bought mine because of those.
Okay.
I liked them, but I didn't like the ceramic.
And now it's the thing. Oh, you're not a ceramic fan either.
No, I'm very picky, I guess.
It's just like
stainless.
Just purely stainless. Okay. Is it like
or all gold? Either way.
Stainless or all gold?
I'll settle for that weight. Get a platinum.
I like the weight. Yeah, I do.
You should totally get a platinum watch. I feel like
Yeah.
I need to see if that changes your opinion on the Apple Watch after like a month.
What about like ceramic components, like a ceramic bezel or a dial piece or something like that?
Yeah, little bits and pieces I think I can do, but the case of the watch, yeah, I like stainless.
Okay, fair enough. All right. That's not too weird. We've got some weird things. Not as weird as only having quartz movements in a collection.
Nothing weird about
of
that.
course. Ed, where do you fall on the whole on this? Do you like ceramic?
It's fine. I liked Zach's IWC a lot, but that was ceratanium, so maybe it's got to have a metal mixed into it.
A combination of two of Kat's favorite things, right? Ceramic and titanium.
It's a perfect watch.
I don't know. I don't think I've handled like a full ceramic watch. I just I don't know. They're like glossy. I'm not like a super glossy kind of guy, if that makes sense. You know?
Rado did like a bead blasted carbon or a ceramic case.
I could get down with that. But isn't it also like brittle? Aren't like it's scratch proof, but it's also more brittle. Not that I'm dropping my stuff a lot, but like
if you drop a ceramic watch on like a hard surface, like a lug could just like snap off. Like that's a possibility.
Yeah. You see a lot of fun stuff with Panerai ceramic just like blowing up, and I've seen like horrible pictures of Omegas that just like lost a lug.
Wow.
And it's like not a warranty concern because you dropped your watch, you dummy.
And you can't just polish it out.
No.
Just
like a big dent in the case or something.
But you can epoxy it back on. I mean,
you can epoxy
Gorilla
It'll buff right out.
look great.
It's patina.
I don't know. No, you know what? I'm gonna be not a ceramic guy. It doesn't really appeal to me.
Okay.
But when you start mixing metals into it, that's fine.
That's all right.
But when you start mixing bioplastics into it, also not good there. So it's got to be a metal.
Okay. The sub has a ceramic bezel to it.
Yeah, I'm okay with bezels. I'm okay with bezels.
Bits and pieces, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I have a sub with a ceramic bezel as well, and it has a chip out of it. So the whole thing didn't like shatter, but no, not this one. I forget where I dropped or hit. I dropped it or hit it on something. I don't know. And then it's got just a little bit by the 7 o'clock hour marker. There's a little divot taken out, and it's just gone. It's not a crack. It's just gone. That's just how those things are, right? Because it's ceramic, right? So
just take a Sharpie and just like color it.
I totally could. Yeah, I know. It's part of the story of the watch, though.
Is it like that color through and through, though, so it should be good, right?
No, like the insert itself is ceramic.
Yeah.
So the piece of that ceramic chipped away, so you can see like the bezel assembly underneath.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's not like a huge chunk, so you don't like. Whoa, it's not like a missing tooth or something.
It's not obvious like a missing tooth. Yeah. That would be the insert gone. Yeah.
Yeah. The whole insert gone. Yeah. All right. Any other watches that we want to talk about from 2022?
I'll throw one more out there.
Okay.
That I had also forgotten about, and I remember when it came out, I was absolutely obsessed with, and time changed things. Now I adore it. But the Ressence 8C.
I was going to ask you earlier when we talked about it on A Week in Watches, like,
the
are you
world
not
changed.
looking for this? Or
Well,
the
I
world
mean,
changed?
I changed. The world changed. Different person back in March. No, I honestly kind of forgot about it for a while. But such an exceptional watch. I love Ressence. I love what they do, and I like that they, in kind of reducing the language a little bit, made this watch that was sort of simpler, but also like they brought the price down, which was just like a nice way to do it. And it's still 12,500 Swiss francs. It's like that's probably like 13 to 14,000 USD right now.
Yeah,
very expensive watch, but like their other watches quickly get to like 30, 40K. So it's like there's a gulf there. So it's very impressive. And yeah, I mean I would love to have a Ressence. I would, and if it was an 8C, that'd be fantastic. But I think they did really well with it, as I recall, and like I think they've just been straight up sold out of those since they launched them.
I can totally imagine that.
Yeah.
Right, it was only the blue dial.
They only did the blue dial, which I'll be honest, like as nice as it was, the blue wasn't my favorite part of it. It was more the concept of it, and it was beautiful, like in the metal, like the kind of alien UFO shape of it and everything. It was very cool. But
yeah, and it still incorporates their unique way of reading the time, and the rock system, of course. So, yeah, that was very cool. Those were. I mean, of course, like if you look at a picture of one, it's like, wow, that's striking. But seeing them in person was like another level of, wow, this is like really impressive.
It's the kind of thing I'm really curious what it'd be like to wear it every day. You know, like I don't know. You know, it's one thing seeing it for a couple minutes, and then like, does the novelty wear off, and then it becomes a strange, just like too weird, or is it so dynamic and unusual that you just want to wear it all the time? Like, you know, we were talking about this before. Sometimes you're compelled to kind of buy these like some more affordable watches because they seem so neat, but then they end up not really being worn very much because they don't have the same gravitas or whatever as some of your favorite pieces. Like, it would be a shame for that. You know, I'm always worried with something that's so different and novel, whether it's that or a wandering hour, like the Vagabondage or something, would just be like the novelty might wear off at a certain point. I don't know.
Too exotic. That's interesting.
Yeah, I might be totally wrong though. I mean, you know, I have some weird ass watches now, like not like at that price point, but like they're the Belcanto's one. I feel like I want to wear it every day. The Louis Vuitton, the Lon Silberstein, that one I love, and I should wear more. But it's still sort of traditional in its own way, you know.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I agree. I like that. There's a lot that I like out there, and I want to have the same kind of considerations. I think in our buying advice, I kind of talked about that. About, you know, I like it, but then I think about what kind of experiences would I have in this if I wore it every day, or would it just end up sitting in a box because it's like that precious thing that I got that's like kind of too weird. You know, not that these are weird, but like you know, the Resonance are purely doing their own thing. You know, we need more watch brands doing that kind of stuff. So, so props to them. Check out the Resonance if you haven't. It's very cool. But what about you? What was your favorite release of the year? What watches got you thinking, got you talking, made you mad, happy, sad from 2022? Let us know down in the comments below. Early next year, we will come back to a big topic, and we'll talk about our hopes, our wishes, our dreams, maybe some predictions for 2023. We can leave our famously bad Tudor predictions in that episode. So also let us know what you were hoping to see in 2023, what brands you are paying attention to after 2022. And just let us know what your thoughts were on this year overall. Let us know if you had anything cool to your collection. We'd love to hear from you. We hope you have a fabulous end of year, however you celebrate holiday season. Thank you so much for listening this year. We appreciate each and every one of you. We hope to see you at one of our wind-up fairs going into next year, and you'll hear plenty more from us, so keep an ear to the ground there. All right, until next time, thanks for tuning in, and take care.